Let's now start touring this top-of-the-line facility and learn more about Gardenia. The bread making process starts with ingredients preparation. Gardenia uses only the finest quality raw materials sourced from all over the world to make breads that would satisfy every Filipino's taste buds. Major ingredients such as flour, sugar, milk, and whey powder are put together and processed by a computer-enabled ingredient handling system. These are stored in giant silos and day bins. Half of the prepared ingredients are transferred into a giant horizontal mixer called the sponge mixer. This is where the base dough or the sponge is prepared. It is the first step in the bread making process. The sponge is then transferred in a cold room where the process of fermentation takes place. It rests on large rectangular troughs for a few hours. This is done to enhance the aroma, flavor, and texture of the bread. The fermented sponge is then transferred to the dough mixer, where the other half of the ingredients are placed and combined to prepare the dough. After mixing, the dough is poured into a large rectangular container called the dough trough. This is then transferred to the makeup line. We will now proceed to the makeup line. This is where the dough is prepared to be divided, processed, and molded to become individual loaves. It is composed of 4 processes. First process is dividing. The dough is transferred by gigantic trough elevators to the divider, where it is cut into an exact size and weight. The technology behind the machine allows us to cut the dough into accurate and standardized scale of dough pieces ready for bread making. The second process is rounding. The dough pieces now enter the rounder. It is where each cut dough is rounded into a ball with smooth surface. It passes through an automatic check weigher to make sure each ball is scaled equally. The third process is the intermediate proofing. In here, the weighed dough is transferred into individual baskets where it is allowed to rest. This makes sure the dough is ready for molding and won't tear during the process. The last process in makeup line is molding. The dough pieces are flattened and molded into cylindrical shapes, cut into its final form. It goes through a twisting machine and is placed in the baking pans. As you move forward to the plant's viewing hallway, you will notice a tall, wide structure with 2 windows. This is the final proof box. During the final proofing, the molded doughs are placed in a temperature and humidity-controlled room where it rests in a multi-level swing tray. This is where the dough rises inside the pan. Proofing is an important procedure in bread making as it helps control the texture of the final product. With top-of-the-line technologies used at the Gardenia plant, we ensure that quality is applied in every loaf that is produced. After the final proofing, the dough trays are automatically covered with lid using a robot. Bread is now ready baking in Gardenia's 30-meter tunnel oven. It has a series of 5 oven chambers with varying temperatures to ensure consistent baking for all loaves. It is equipped with an indirect firing system that is heated by environment-friendly petroleum gas. The computer technology ensures that equal heat is distributed inside the oven to bake the breads. We're almost done. See how Gardenia has planned every move in the process using the finest technology in bread making? After baking, the lids are automatically removed and stored for cooling in the lid stacker area. The bread is loosened by air bursts that's blown on the edges of each pan. Soft suctions are used to lift the breads automatically from the pan into the conveyor belt. All these are done without human hands. Meanwhile, The hot baking pans pass through pan coolers and are placed in a pan storage area by another robot. One of the favorite parts by many in the plant is the spiral coolers. This is where the baked loaves cool down before slicing and bagging. They pass through the first conveyor tower and are conveyed to the second tower via a bridge. After going through the spinal coolers, each of the cool-down loaf passes through what we call a tumbling station. A conveyor belt allows the bread to turn on each side to let highly trained checkers inspect the breads. Only loaves that meet Gardenia's high-quality standards are sliced and bagged. The loaves now enter a high-speed slicer, where it is automatically cut to appropriate thickness. Breads are pushed inside bags automatically by a state-of-the-art bagger, untouched by human hands. Finally, to seal in freshness, Gardenia uses color-coded sheet-locks. This helps customers track baking date and expiry of each loaf. It is Gardenia's way of ensuring that you get only the freshest bread every day. The packed breads pass through metal detectors to ensure that it has no metal contaminants before transferred in clean trays ready for delivery. As you've seen, each Gardenia bread that you enjoy is a product of all the well-thought process which combines the art of bread making, technology, and passion to bring only the best products to your home. Gardenia has the largest dispatch capacity in the Philippines. It houses over 850,000 loaves and buns, all of which are dispatched daily with the aim of delighting every Filipino home.
But have you ever wondered how I'm made? Do you know how a soft, yummy bread like me came to be? Let's go inside the factory as I tell you the Gardenia story. Welcome to Gardenia's latest bread-making plant. This is where my story starts. Inside this plant, Gardenia put together some of the awesome high-tech machines from all over the world to bring you the best quality bread. I know you're excited to see what's inside, so let's go! World-class quality bread starts with world-class quality ingredients.
The finest ingredients.
Gardenia at the ingredients preparation. Here, the major ingredients like flour, sugar, milk, and whey powder are placed in the factory's computer-controlled ingredient handling top-of-the-line facilities.
It's put together.
Look, they're hard at work preparing the ingredients. These are placed in gigantic silos and day bins. Then, we send it to the sponge and dough mixers. Hey, that's the base dough or the sponge. Sponge mixing is the first step in making bread.
Or bread making process.
We put half of the ingredients and mix them in this giant horizontal sponge mixer. They're finished mixing. Yay!
Yes.
The sponge is now moved to these big rectangular containers called the troughs. The sponge is fermented for several hours in a cold room to enhance the smell, flavor, and texture of the bread. Hey, I think it's done! From the fermentation room, the sponge is poured onto the dough mixer. The remaining half of the flour and other ingredients are then added to form the dough. These are then poured into the dough trough, ready to move to the makeup line. This is the makeup line. Here, there are 4 major operations done on the dough. First, dividing. The dough is transferred using a trough elevator to the divider. Here, the dough is cut into the required size and weight of a loaf. This makes sure that the dough is accurate and consistent all the time. Look at all those cute round dough. That's because the second part is called rounding. The dough pieces are rounded into a ball with a smooth surface, and it happens on this equipment called the rounder. Then the dough piece passes through the check weigher to ensure that my weight is correct.
Or is scaled equally.
Third, there's intermediate proofing baskets in the intermediate proofer. This allows the dough to rest, so it will go through the molding sheeting rollers without tearing.
Or without tearing during the process.
Lastly, molding. These dough pieces are flattened, rolled into a cylindrical shape, sealed and cut into its final form. Then the dough will be twisted and placed in the baking pans. Look, there are two molders. Molder 1 fills the right side of the baking pan set, while molder 2 fills the left side. The baking pans containing the molded dough are now moved to a temperature and humidity-controlled large proof box for final proofing. This tall white machine with two viewing windows is the proof box. Inside, the baking pans travel through a multi-level swing tray, allowing the dough to rise inside the pan. Want to see something cool? There's a robot in our plant! This robotic arm automatically covers the baking pans after final proofing.
Or the lid.
On the other end, the empty pans go through a tornado pan cleaner to clear dough residue. Then passes through a pan greasing station where they're sprayed automatically with a highly specialized baking oil, ready for the next batch of dough once more. Now, we're ready for baking. Breads like me are baked. Baking is done in the oven with an indirect firing system, which is heated by environment-friendly liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG. The oven's programmable computer ensures that heat is well distributed in the 30-meter long tunnel oven with a series of 5 oven chambers with varying temperatures. This results into consistent baking in all loaves. After baking, the metal lids are automatically removed and stored for cooling in a lid stacker area. Now, the bread is loosened from each pan using air that's blown on the edges of the bread and the pan. The bread is then taken out of the baking pans using gentle suctions that automatically lift the bread out of the pan into a conveyor.
These are done without human hands.
We're here at my favorite part of the plant, the spiral coolers. All the kids and adults who visit the plant say this is their favorite part too. Pretty impressive, right?
It's one of their favorite parts by many.
The freshly baked hot breads are conveyed upwards in the first cooling tower. Then it crosses a bridge on top and conveyed downwards on the second tower. This process allows the bread to cool down to the desired temperature before slicing and bagging.
It passes through the first conveyor and crosses the second layer or conveyor via bridge.
Look at those tumbling bread!
Oh my gosh.
Each loaf passes through the tumbling station where all 4 sides of the loaf are checked. Wow! Here, highly trained checkers perform the final quality visual inspection per loaf. This ensures that only breads that meet Gardenia's high quality standards are sliced and packed. Now, the loaves are fed into a high-speed band slicer where it's automatically cut to the desired thickness.
Or the appropriate thickness.
The breads are then pushed inside bags automatically by a state-of-the-art bagger, still untouched by hand. Finally, to seal in freshness, Gardenia uses color-coded G-locks, imprinted with the batch and traceability number, price, and expiry date. This is the G-lock. Its color tells you the day when your bread was baked. It's our way of ensuring that you only get the freshest bread every day. After packaging, every Gardenia loaf passes through a metal detector to ensure that there are no metal contaminants before the loaves are placed in clean trays.
As you've seen, it's HACCP certified.
Now we're ready for dispatch. We're here at the very spacious bread dispatch staging area. This is where packed loaves are consolidated, loaded into bread trucks, and delivered to your favorite stores. Look at those trucks go! All ready to roll to ensure all of you kids get to enjoy the best breads all the time. Because we always want to make sure that you enjoy Gardenia in many fun and different ways, we've come up with various products for every taste and everyone. Whoa! Look at all those Gardenia breads!
Oh my god, they're so delicious.
We have the all-time favorite Classic White, which the whole family loves.
I like the classic white.
Our wheat bread line is perfect for the health conscious, and our flavored breads is a favorite of those who want something different and adventurous. For those craving for the classic Pinoy favorite, Gardenia offers a pandesal line. And of course, the all-time favorite of kids are flavored buns and snacks. The best part is, all these yummy breads are all healthy for you. Helping you stay healthy is important for us here at Gardenia. That's why we go to your schools to teach good nutrition and how eating healthy helps in achieving that. That's the story of Gardenia bread. My story. It's a story that's fun, exciting, high-tech, and delicious. Thanks for being part of my story. And now, it's time for you to be part of it. Enjoy the plant tour.
Gardenia, so good you can even eat it on its own.
Baked with advanced technology from around the world. Gardenia. Guaranteed fresh every day. Gardenia. Bread. So cottony soft. Gardenia. A delicious variety of breads. Gardenia.